today I'm so excited to have a conversation with you. Again, the Building Belmont podcast being about those that are building in Belmont. But what's specifically interesting about you is you're building for everyone else. With an Instagram page, Belmont NC Happenings, we have Eileen Embledge joining us today, the heart, the person behind the page. And so I'm excited for our conversation today. Take us back. What brought you to Belmont?
Oh gosh, what brought us to Belmont? Kayaking, actually. We bought a few kayaks and decided to find where we could put them in. We lived in university at the time, and we came here to buy brewing supplies. And we thought, oh, Belmont's so cute. And I had no idea that 4 years ago we would actually end up in Belmont and living here. And it's been such a treat.
And a pillar of the community. You and your husband. I mean, honestly, your page is something that when I found it, I was just so pleased to see, oh, this is amazing. I mean, when I'm looking for information, the things that are happening in Belmont, and I don't say that just because of the page name, I literally go and just tap through your story. Like, hey, what are we going to do today? And so it's really awesome that you were a part of that. So you said you were living in university area in Charlotte?
I was,
okay.
Yeah.
Are you from Charlotte originally?
No, I'm from New York originally, actually.
Okay. So tell me what you knew about Belmont or Gaston County when you first came into Charlotte, because I always love that unique perspective that someone brings when they move here.
So we just knew that Belmont was right on the edge of Charlotte. We knew it was far enough away. Ironically, I had been working at a place that built in Lowell. They built a new place. So when I moved to Belmont, I was actually commuting to Belmont. And when they built that new building, I said, oh, I must have done something right, because now I'm 9 minutes from work. Yeah. So it worked out really, really well. Didn't really know too much about Belmont itself. Found out living here, the textile community. And it was just such a small community just 4 years ago. 4 years ago, there weren't as many people, and it wasn't as popular as it is now. So watching it grow over the past 4 years has been really amazing, actually.
What has been your favorite part of the growth and experiencing it? Obviously, you're very plugged in at a micro level to everything happening in Belmont. I'm just going to have fun playing on that all day. But everything happening in Belmont, what has been the most enjoyable part about watching that growth, even over the last 4 years?
Watching the success of the businesses in town, watching the success in some of the super small businesses that may do things out of their homes, being able to come out and do fairs, different, craft events, being in some certain stores such as like Belmont Yoga has a lot of local people that make jewelry, candles, all kinds of things. So having that kind of interaction with people and seeing those people grow, it has just been a joy.
Yeah. Well, let's get to then the page. So you came here 4 years ago, not from Belmont, not from the area. You found your way here because of kayaking, right?
Yes.
And so you found yourself here. Tell me the story. How did Belmont NC Happenings, the Instagram page, come about? What was the heart? What was the catalyst behind that?
So I was sitting there during Thursday Night Pops. Which was one of the first events we were able to do in 2020 after everything had shut down in March of 2020. And I was sitting with my friend Cassidy. I volunteer for the DBDA, which is the nonprofit that helps out Main Street. So we do all kinds of neat things, and I'll get to that later. And I said, how can I reach people to let them know we're doing this? And I thought, well, I can't use my Facebook. I've lived in New York. I lived in Atlanta. Those people are going to be like, what's Belmont? So I wanted to reach people here in Belmont. So I just randomly started the page in September and started kind of putting out, okay, we're having a Thursday Night Pops concert, social distancing, masks, the first 50 people can make it in, all of that stuff. And, a few people started, liking it. And I was like, oh, that's nice. I never imagined the amount of people to kind of stop me in the street. When it first started, I just thought, I'm just going to do this for fun. And I'm still doing it for fun. It's still a hobby. But yeah, it just came from there, just wanting to reach people only in Belmont and the surrounding areas to let them know the things that we were doing in the DBDA to get the word out there.
Yeah. Well, I really like the heart behind that. We were talking about before the recording, when something spawns from a heart of service, sustainable, and it's also more energizing long term. So
Yeah.
what's the actual birthday? Do you remember?
Yes.
Of the page? What's the
yes,
birthday?
it's September 9th, 2020.
Okay.
Is when I put up, just randomly took this picture on the corner in front of the vet's office across from station. And it's just of flowers and the brickwork there. And I don't think anyone liked that. I think there are 0 likes on that picture, but it's okay. The next one was a picture that I took when we did the outdoor dining, the alfresco dining, which the DBDA put together in order to help the businesses out. Because, there were 50% capacity back then. So another 50% outside, now they're at 100. So the alfresco dining was pretty neat. So I took pictures of that and then put, coming soon, happenings in Belmont.
Yeah. So 746 posts and 2,901 followers later.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, did you ever imagine, obviously it stemmed from a heart of service to reach people and just let them know what's happening.
Yeah.
Our downtown is awesome. And obviously
really
I'm
is.
biased, but my wife and I, we had an opportunity to move wherever because most of my business is virtual, but we chose to be here and to stay here. And so not only am I saying that because I'm here, because we choose to be here. So there's so much going on. Did you ever think that it would grow? And obviously it's going to continue to grow. It already has. Did you think that it would become such an impactful part of
No.
engaging with Belmont?
Not at all. I thought I would post a few things. I was just trying to keep it away from people that weren't necessarily going to be traveling here during the pandemic and exploring Belmont. And I wanted to reach Belmont people. My goal right now is to make it to 3,000 people by the 2-year anniversary of the page. And I think we're well on our way. I never thought in a million years that the page would, that people would recognize the page and things like that. So.
Well, the summer's coming up. Of course, it's spring, so events are happening. I'm sure you're going to hit
Yes.
3,000 well before the birthday. So when you said keep it away, you meant to make it a way for people to engage with downtown Belmont?
Well, keep it away from people that it didn't matter to them because they're far away.
Okay.
They're in New York, they're in Atlanta, and because it was during the pandemic, it was 2020 when the page started. So I didn't want to bombard them in a way of Belmont, 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 Belmont.
Yeah.
So I wanted the people who could be reached, who cared about it, who wanted to go into town, wanted to be a part of these events. I did post something on Facebook, my personal Facebook, of one of the Thursday night pops, and someone's like, there's a concert happening? And I was like, yeah, it's in Belmont.
Yeah. So why Instagram? I mean, there is Facebook and other things. You thought, well, since it's photos, or what was the heart behind that?
Yeah, it was pictures. It was just, the platform is nicer. I mean, there's no other way to say it. There's very little negative comments when it comes to an Instagram page versus, a Facebook page, but we could debate that all day long.
Yeah. Well, that's true. I think the way you said that, Instagram is built for the sharing and the engagement in that way. And I actually read somewhere, I find myself in kind of like tech rabbit holes sometimes, and actually read somewhere that on Instagram, more engagement is happening through DMs than even posts.
Yeah.
So people are obvious. And I mean, that makes sense. When you see a story, you send it to someone's DM or someone's post and you DM them or you slide up on their story. So all that engagement's happening there.
Exactly.
So good job. I mean, really getting into it on that. So with the DBDA, I think since you are involved with the DBDA, it'd be a great opportunity as well to share what that is and what your involvement is there. So what is the DBDA? I'm not from Belmont at all and I know nothing, right? Speak to that person. What is that?
So it's the Downtown Belmont Development Association. It's a nonprofit that works in conjunction with the Main Street Project. And what we do is put on the Friday Night Lives, Garibaldi Festival. There's a few different committees. I'm on the promotions committee. And I'm the volunteer coordinator. So when you see on my page, I'm asking people to come out and volunteer. It's 2 hours here and there. Garibaldi Festival, 2 hours. The Easter egg hunt, 2 hours. Friday Night Lives. We just need people to help out with t-shirt sales, beverage sales, all kinds of things like that. So the page really started to grow when I'm looking for volunteers, and I realized the impact of it when we had these meet and greets, which we're having one this Thursday at noon and at 6 at Everyday Market. So people can find out more information about the DBDA, what the DBDA does for the town. Mm-hmm. And the fact that I was able to find 23 people, over the course of the page's life has been huge. So people are paying attention to the page and they're saying, okay, yeah, I'm going to volunteer in Belmont, and this is how I can do it. This is how I can give back.
Well, I like the opportunity for people to plug in. You don't have to go very far in Belmont to find ways to get plugged in or to build relationships. I mean, just go walk downtown at any point. Even right now, we're recording this on a Monday. If you walk down there, you're gonna make a friend. I like that you made that as an opportunity, because you're leading with the value of the events and things that are happening, but also then making the ask of, hey, you can come and support it also.
Yes.
So I think it's really great that it started from that heart, but it serves a really great purpose for the DBDA and the Main Street program.
Yeah.
So with being involved with the DBDA and starting the page in September of 2020 and getting it out of that, was there a thought from those that you work with in Main Street program and DBDA that, hey, this might be a thing, or all of a sudden they just started seeing it grow and thought, oh, hey, thanks, do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was something that, I did ask, would it be a conflict of interest? And they're like, no, you can do whatever you want. You're a volunteer. I'm not paid by the city in any way, shape, or form. So yeah, that's where it grew from. It just grew from being able to, because I was so excited. I was so excited about Thursday Night Pops coming back, and then Friday Night Live and Christmas Village and all of these things that the DBDA puts on. I wanted to be able to reach people and to share these things happening, just because I go around and I talk to people, and when I'm not out in town, I just want to be able to reach them and let them know it was happening.
Yeah, awesome. Well, it gives you a great reason as well to engage with people and what's going on there. I assume that you have a higher than usual engagement rate as far as your stories and things like that. I mean, how busy is the DMs for the NC Happenings Instagram page?
So it's really neat. I get very interesting questions from time to time. And the most interesting question the other day, someone said, is there power in town? Because we had a lot of wind. And I was like, that's an interesting question. I have no idea. I'm not in town at that moment. But I looked and I saw that no one had posted. And I said, do you have, dinner plans? What's going on? And they said, oh, I live in the McLean neighborhood. We haven't had power for 4 hours. Wow. And I was like, oh, so I was that link. They were like, who do I reach out to find out if I can go into town? And that was really awesome to be able to kind of interact with that person. So people ask a lot of questions, like, the biggest question I get around the holidays is, are there going to be fireworks for New Year's? So I get to take that information back to the DBDA and say, hey, there's a need. People want to do something for New Year's Eve. So let's try and work on something. Yeah. So all those little suggestions I'm able to bring to the table. So that's the correlation there.
Yeah, so you're serving, but you're also collecting data of what people want or what people need. It makes me think of the model of Tesla. And Tesla is not a vehicle company, it's a data company, right? And people are paying to collect data for Tesla, right? Because you buy a Tesla and you're riding around, you're collecting data. You don't happen to have a Tesla, do you?
No, not yet.
So it just seemed like, oh yeah, you're very interested. So anyway, in the same way, this page is also collecting that data. And I really like that, because you have that connection. And that was really a heart behind building Belmont as well, was how do we as citizens, as people that just love Belmont, love building in Belmont and building relationships in Belmont, how can we just serve each other? And so there's a lot of that around here. I've been meaning to ask this, I've been so curious. There are so many local Instagram influencer pages, kind of very local. Do you all have like a secret meeting or a secret gathering where you get together? Do you all know each other? So
I do know a few of the pages. I do interact with as many as I can, as many as will interact back. I don't want to be intrusive. There are a few pages where I've just kind of casually met but didn't introduce myself, kind of realized, oh, that's so-and-so. I'm very close with Belmont Babes. They started their page, I think, a little bit before when I did, and they're really great. So bumping into them in town is a lot of fun. Yeah. Well, I think building Belmont, and I like being a catalyst and a connector as well. I think that's why we connected. Yes. We need to bring them all together and kind of just have that opportunity to sit down and chat. Because I think about what you mentioned there too. Your page, your audience is not the person visiting Belmont. It's the person that calls Belmont home. Yes. And
So there is another page, Visit Belmont. It's very
Yes.
obviously about visiting Belmont. So even though these pages are out there, it doesn't seem, I follow all of them, it doesn't feel like there's competition. It feels
No.
like they're all serving each other and you can get different things from each one of them.
Exactly. Each page has its own unique style, and they are reaching people differently, maybe even different people. Some of them are more fashion, some of them are more, come into Belmont and stay here. Mine is more geared towards, and it kind of started that way for businesses, and being able to say, hey, this business has this, they're open, they're doing delivery, they're doing whatever. Gigi's was, they delivered clothes to me. They did stuff online. They were like, here's this shirt, number 101. It's, $30. And they were actually bringing clothes to people that purchased in a way. So, because people couldn't come in, in the beginning. So it was little things like that I wanted to kind of get out there and share.
And those, I assume that those things, or that need, was also a heart behind the page, right? Coming out of COVID, or
Yeah.
I don't even know. It's so hard to say. I used to say when I started my business in June of 2020 that it was the height of COVID, but we don't even know when that was, or
Yeah.
if, anyway. So seeing those things and seeing those needs, have you found the local businesses to treat your page like an asset? I mean, I definitely do. If I know I want to get something out there, I tag you, and you're always faithful to support it and put it out there. Do they see that as, hey, this page is an asset and thank you?
I think so. I think some of them, have said things, oh, thank you for sharing that. A lot of businesses have wrote to me, thank you for sharing, things of that nature. So that's been really nice to hear that kind of feedback. The biggest thing is the people. For example, leaving yoga and going to station, having people say, oh, I love the page. It's been such a huge joy. Yeah. And I recently added an admin, my friend Kelly Myers. She does work at William Henry. And so she's now at the McAdenville location. Okay. So she's able to cover a little bit more, maybe McAdenville, Lowell. She lives in Gastonia. So things like that. We're just trying to expand to some neighbors and kind of let people know in those areas what we're doing here in Belmont too.
Well, that's the interesting thing about Belmont as well, is that even though it's Belmont specific, our podcast, your page, it still serves the surrounding area.
Yes.
So we're already even picking up an audience in Gaston County, because Belmont's just a fun place to get away to and hang out. And likewise, I can't wait for Honey Hunters to open up, go watch a game, hang out downtown Gastonia. But it's really neat to see that you get to serve those surrounding communities. So before we go, I want to ask you some hard questions.
Oh, gosh.
Okay. And I'm going to preface these like a parent that has children. They love all of them, right? But some have their own different personalities. So I'm going to ask you about some of your favorite places in Belmont, and you have to pick one. And again, I'm prefacing that you love all of them. I'm sure you do.
Yes.
What is your favorite place? Say it's Thursday afternoon. You and your husband just finished a day of work. You want to walk to downtown Belmont and grab a beer. What's your favorite place just to grab a draft?
So for me and Nate to go together, it's probably Sammy's. That's the original place that we had started going to. We're part of the brew crew there. So probably that. But we try to hit up, each one.
Spread the love.
Yes. Yeah, so probably when he's with me, definitely Sammy's.
Okay, Sammy's. So then what about just you alone, or specifically?
Nellie's.
Nellie's?
Yeah, okay. For lunch, for dinner, for brunch. Yeah, definitely Nellie's.
Definitely different speed and environment.
Yes.
For Sammy's and Nellie's. Okay, all right. What is your favorite sandwich spot?
Sandwich spot? Probably Two Chicks.
Okay.
They have a take on sandwiches. I don't like traditional sandwiches, so they have quesadillas, and I think they're doing their Reuben egg roll for St. Patrick's.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really good.
Okay, that sounds great. Yeah, Two Chicks is definitely an asset. All right, your favorites, maybe it's your favorite boutique, or what you like about the different boutiques, because there's a few of them, obviously.
There are.
So your favorite boutique, or maybe just what you like about the different ones.
I love Gigi's. The moment I walked in there years ago, I got a hug, and I was like, this place is different. This place is amazing. And my mother and I used to shop at a very similar boutique back in New York. So we get really great vibes when we go into Gigi's. Yeah. It's magical in there.
The first time I visited there was actually because I wanted to connect with Grace about the podcast. And before I could engage her, she was already I've never seen you guys before. How are you doing? I was, of course, in there with my wife because she's like, oh, I want to go. So we spent a little bit of money, but we engaged with Grace. And before the end of the conversation, she said, hey, can I write down your name? I want to pray for you guys. And she's just so genuine and heartfelt. And so Gigi's is just a fun place just to be in the environment.
Yes.
Absolutely. All right. So it's Saturday evening, and you and Nate are feeling a little bit more fancy. It's not a beer night, it's a cocktail night. What is your favorite cocktail spot?
So I've actually been drinking a lot of cocktails at Station. Station's not just a beer place. They have cocktails there too. They've been making some really neat ones. And we went to Jailhouse for the first time in a while. It had been a while for my friend's birthday. So that was fun to go on Saturday night. Those two places. We did go to Heirloom for a few cocktails. So that's been a welcome addition to our town.
Did you get to experience Chad?
Oh yeah,
at the bar.
Oh yeah,
isn't he something?
He's amazing. What he has done, and his protege, I think his name is Jacob, who's there when he's not. He's taught him so much. So that's huge.
Yeah, I feel like I'm a better person when I'm around Chad from a cocktail standpoint. So better or worse, I think it's better. But even my wife and I were in ABC and we're getting some ingredients to make some margaritas with some friends this last weekend. And I started looking around. She said, oh, we need triple sec. And I'm like, oh, we need that one. Chad said, So he's very engaging. And he is the entertainment. But Jailhouse is just such an environment that you can go in there. And I even take my laptop in there sometimes and just get an old fashioned and start working. Just a fun historical environment. So it's really close between those two. I think it's like, it's apples and oranges. They're just very different. I like Heirloom on one afternoon and I love Jailhouse equally on another. What else am I missing? Let's see. Favorite steak in downtown Belmont. I think this is probably going to be easy.
Old Stone. Yeah, Old Stone is really good, and the people there are really great. It's so small and intimate. And the first time I remember my mom was in town, she wanted to go in, and we walked in, they said, you have to have a reservation. I looked around and I said, yeah, this place is small and sweet and intimate. So we made reservations next time.
Have you got to visit Cornerstone yet?
Oh, yes. It was amazing. We had a really great time, and we thought, okay, this is a new concept. You're going to go in there and you're going to scan the QR code, and it's probably going to take forever. 5 minutes, we had a drink, a couple more minutes food. So it's a really great concept. And I was talking to the bartender there and just kind of asking him how things were going. And it's, what a great addition. Very smart of them. Yeah, for sure.
It's a totally different speed. The first time I went to Cornerstone, I thought that it was just an extension of Old Stone, but you're sitting outside. Yeah. And it's totally different.
Totally different.
And so I kind of like that. Although I did want a steak, we put our name on the list and we went up to Jailhouse and waited, 45 minutes to get in. But anyway, I do like that it's a different change of pace there.
Yeah.
In closing, someone's moving to Belmont and they happen to come across this podcast and they start to scroll and they see, oh, Belmont happenings. There's a page, right? And they listen to this podcast and they're right now following along with us, but they're just moving here. What does that person need to know? What is the starter kit that Eileen would share with the person that just moved to Belmont, wants to engage, starting to call it home? What would you tell them, or what advice would you give them?
Maybe look into a golf cart. Those have been very popular. People zooming around on golf carts. Just find your place. There's so many amazing restaurants and shops. Find your place, find your routine, find your people. It's very easy. Just come downtown and you'll find them. They're here.
And they'll probably find you.
They'll probably find me.
So meet Eileen and say hi to her and Nate, and just one of the most warm and loving people. And I like how the page represents you. And so when you engage with the page, it's like, oh, this is very friendly and kind and welcoming. And then you meet you and it's like, this is like the page embodied, right? And so thank you for what you've done for the community and for engaging. And I don't know, Zach, if we're going to be able to get this on cameras. I want to put this on screen. Okay, make sure you follow at Belmont_NC_happenings to figure out what's going on in downtown Belmont. You absolutely won't regret it. So anything else to share before I let you go? I just enjoyed our natural conversation.
Yeah, no, this is great. This is my first podcast ever, so very excited. And No, just come down to Belmont, and we have a lot of stuff happening for the spring, and Garibaldi Festival on the 30th, our first Friday Night Live on the 29th, and you can catch me down in Belmont Yoga, doing yoga, and then having a beer everywhere.
Awesome. Belmont Yoga. I still need to try Belmont Yoga. My wife loves yoga, so I go
it's fantastic.
Obviously, but I've been wanting to check it out, especially being downtown. There's something that would be really fun about hitting yoga, and then I see that people that typically go from the yoga are like over to the bar.
Yeah, so at night it's stationed. During the day we go to Everyday Market, and we just kind of bop around with our yoga mats.
Okay, if you see someone with a yoga mat, you can probably approach them and say hello. Okay, awesome. Well, thank you again for joining us, and thank you all for joining us on another episode of Building Belmont. New episodes every Monday. And if you see Eileen in the streets, I know she looks very intimidating, but go up to her, talk with her, engage with her. And again, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Kiana.
My name is Keanu Trujillo, and I thank you again for joining us on the Building Belmont podcast. Join us on the Building Belmont podcast every Monday morning for more stories, connection, and information. We'll see you soon.